What If Aliens Issue 2. Now, I've been enjoying this series, and I've said this in the last review, is if Fox is never going to give us the adaptation that Dark Horse set up with the Earth War, then I will take this. And the worst part is that kind of tears at me is now that Fox is part of Disney, then, I'll take what I can get. Now, who's working on this book? Concept by Paul and Leon Reiser, Adam F. Goldberg, Hans Rodenoff, and Brian Volkweis. Part 2, written by Hans Rodenoff and Leon Reiser. Artist, again, I'm probably going to slaughter these names, so feel free to make fun of me down in the comments. Guillaume Villanova. Color artist is Ian Nitro. Letters, VC Clayton Kells. And there's everyone else working on the book with Phil Noto doing the cover. So, last issue, we find out 35 years after the events, or somewhere along the time after Aliens, Carter Burke has been the fall guy from Weyland Yutani for what happened at LV-426. So his work life, home life, all has been besmirched by this, saying that he is the murderer that he was. So he's basically put on this backwater planet and is just living a very horrible life because his wife is not around, his daughter's sick, and he's just like, what am I going to do with my life? So we start out where it says 35 years ago, Arcadia 239, waste disposal planet. Now, there may be a couple of spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, go to your local comic shop, grab this book, and come back, and you're back. And we see Burke's looking around, and he goes, jackpot. Hello, handsome. So this is the android that we see at the end of the last book. And this is Cygnus, I believe is how you pronounce it. He goes, I saved you from the scrap heap and spent over a year restoring you for a very specific reason. He says, I need you to locate and procure a Xenomorph egg for me. Mr. Burke, are you aware that the request is highly illegal? Newsflash, bud. Your whole generation was supposed to be recycled years ago. The fact that you're even walking around is highly illegal. If anyone gets a scan of your outdated hardware, it's over. The egg's not going to make a difference. This scene, I cringed a little bit at, but I had to laugh because he goes, regardless, all of the specimens on LV-426 were incinerated. As far as anyone knows, there's no evidence of that species appearing anywhere else in any known system. Now, if you've seen Machete, then you're going to get this joke. Because Burke looks at him and goes, Cygnus, are you a replican or a replicant? I'm a replicant. There's no such thing as a replicant. That's not a real word. Tomato, potato, tomato. Point is, I need a partner who doesn't have the word no in their vocabulary. So it starts out kind of cool. But what kills me is rather than take the time and kind of show Cygnus going through, because what happens is this is 35 years in the past, and now we see Cygnus when Carter Burke is an old man. So it took him many, many years to finally find an egg. So I kind of wish maybe spend a couple of issues with Cygnus through the years looking for these eggs, but for the sake of storytelling, I get it that we kind of show that Burke's trying to be more positive. He tries to revisit his daughter, and he's still like, Peanut, guess who? And she's still saying, how many times I gotta say it? You are not welcome down here, Dad. I know, Brie. I'm sorry. But I got you a little gift, see? A tiny treat. For what? Arbor Day. We're on an asteroid on the ass end of the universe, Dad. We don't do holidays, so just keep the shrub. We're gonna be a family again. Come on, don't start with that. We'll never be a family. Ever. Except we will. I've been working on something big, and soon you're gonna know. Everybody in the whole damn universe is gonna know that I'm not the monster I've been made out to be. You've been saying that my whole life. And so you can kind of see how he's desperate to try to get his life back together. But these are the consequences of his actions. If he would have went to LV-426 with the good intentions rather than trying to do something for the company. But corporate greed, all that good stuff. We find out more about his wife and why, on top of trying to put his family back together, why this ovomorph egg is so important to him. And now, going back to talk about maybe spending a couple of issues with Cygnus exploring different parts of the alien universe, would have been interesting and engaging and kind of give us a break from just Burke's, corporate life. But all we get instead is a double page splash that it's okay. Shows all the different planets. It shows them go to Fioria, or is that Fury 161. So it's kind of interesting that when because in this universe the Sulaco was saved by Weyland Yutani. There's no ovomorphs on the ship. So all of a sudden there's an egg on Fury 161 that just, it kind of messes with the continuity. It's like, how did it get there? Because those guys were thriving before in Alien 3 when Ripley crash landed there. So interesting, but probably more than less just fan service there. So yeah, this is all we get. Now, this part, what kind of made it up for me is I could see Paul Reisner's humor. If you ever watched Mad About You, this kind of has his dry humor, because they're essentially trying to figure out who do they want to implant with the alien embryo. He goes, look at all these people happily going about their busy lives. I can't just go and latch a slimy spider crab thing onto one of their faces. That's not a nice thing to do. Think about how meaningful their lives will become if they help find a cure for every known disease. And that's, again, spoiler alert. This is what Burke is saying why he wants to do this, is because he says that the alien acid in the blood and whatnot can cure all sorts of different cancers. So keep that in mind when you're reading this book. And can we kind of get into interviews with different employees? And he goes, let me guess, you need me to show you how to log into the teleconference system? See, your whole problem is you don't understand the basics of the phone itself. Nope, don't need phone lessons. I actually wanted to talk to you about a new position that's opening up here. You mean like a promotion? Thank you so much, sir. You know, everyone in this office is wrong. You're not the worst. They say, what now? You know how how perfect this time is going to be with the baby on the way? Baby? Oh, thank you. Baby. Wow. Okay. Promotion it is. And so he walks away and he goes, don't give me that look, Cygnus. It's fine. I have an even better candidate. Gloria from accounting. And so this is very much kind of that dry humor that you would see on like one of his sitcoms. And you see she's having trouble and he just can't bring himself to do it to her. And so finally, someone from Weyland Yutani shows up. And nonetheless, it gets his blood boiling. And, yeah, he quote-unquote shows this gentleman a pulse rifle. But, yeah, you can imagine where this goes. Yeah, I just wish that there was a little more to this book. Again, I can see the humor. But I guess from all the Alien movies, and then I've been reading the Titan book novels, which, if you haven't been reading those, hell yeah. On the After Dark channel, we did the River of Pain, which was supposed to be that little story in between between the time that Ripley ended up at Gateway Station to the time they actually came to LV-426 with the infestation. And it expands on Newt's story from Dark Horse, which is a really good read. So check out that review and go read the book. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen here, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is you like to get your action figures and comic books and grab this series. Again, I wish that there was more to this issue, but it's enough to make me want to grab issue 3 and see where we're going to be going with Carter Burke. So if you've enjoyed this review, I really appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little Xenomorph bell next subscribe, that way as I continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with you and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or the socials, which I'll make sure to leave links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.